here with Jonathon Bates from Neurotech Coaching, and he's going to wire me up to some device that's going to enlighten me over a period of a few weeks, which is when I'm going to be using it. Do you want to explain it a bit more scientifically, Jonathon?
Okay, thanks, Jeff. This is known as EEG biofeedback, and it's part of a suite of neurotechnologies that are all designed to work with the brain, and so to tune the brain and develop all sorts of abilities, healing, remediation, peak performance, and then eventually enlightenment.
So the idea is to find enlightenment with this, so I'm really excited about trying it out. Do you want to wire me up and we'll see how it goes?
Okay. This here is called the raw signal, and that's all the frequencies together coming through. And down here is what's known as a spectral array, and that breaks all the frequencies up into their domain. So up to 4 Hertz is delta, and then 4 to 8 is theta, and 8 to 12 is alpha, 12 to 15 is SMR, and then 22 up to 40 here is high beta. And so that spectral array is giving you the whole breakdown of an eyes open brainwave state at that particular site where the sensor is. Your job will be to, it's sort of like a Zen thing where you're relaxed and focused with the intention and understanding that your real-time brainwaves are controlling the size of the screen.
Okay, so I've got to try and get them, what, to get smaller?
Larger.
Larger.
So you remain focused. So the idea with this is it's sort of like a Zen thing where you don't sort of try.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I'm trying.
Yeah, yeah. So you just remain relaxed, focused, and just be absorbed by what you're watching.
Okay.
But in the back of your head, the understanding and knowledge that you are controlling that screen and you want it bigger rather than smaller.
So why did you particularly choose this spot on the top of my head?
Okay, that spot's a good all-round place for remediation training, for healing difficulties, and for peak performance training. It's called CZ. Interestingly enough, it corresponds to the crown chakra and to the crown meridian spot in acupuncture, but it hooks into a structure called the basal ganglia, and that connects into the limbic system, so it affects emotions. It connects into the caudate nucleus, which affects your physiology, how tense or relaxed your body is, and it connects into the frontal lobe, so it affects concentration and cognition.
So if I learn to control the screen using this particular sensor here, I'm also improving my ability to control my emotions, to control all of those things you just mentioned. And that's why you use it for, when you say peak performance, you use it for athletes? Okay.
Yeah, and execs.
And did you work with the Institute of Sport?
No.
Okay. But who did you work with? You worked with someone?
I haven't worked with any institutes, but I've worked with individual athletes, and I worked with the Adelaide 36ers. And the Adelaide Quit Lightning, which is the women's version.
And what benefits do they get from doing it?
Well, say one of the guys I work with in the 36ers, he had problems with maintaining form and concentration, and so that massively improved the stability of his form, so that he could stay focused the whole game. One of the women that I work with, she had a lot of difficulty with emotional states, and so would sort of get down on herself, would get angry, and get a bit depressed and that type of thing, which of course then got in the way of a game.
Yeah.
And she was on the verge of being dropped from the team. And so I worked with her, tuned all that up. She said it was like having a new brain in her head.
Really?
So that massively improved and evened out all of that emotional instability, which affected her focus and concentration. And then she ended up making it into the women's basketball Olympic team.
So how often do you have to use this thing to get results like that? Because I could do with a little bit of leveling out.
Yep. Well, if if you're reasonably sort of tuned in good shape, then you should start getting results straight away. And sometimes you can feel the effects after one training session.
Okay, cool.
See, what's interesting about this is that I realised eyes open neurotraining is massively important, and it's what the yogis did with all the eye gazing stuff. Okay. And except the big difference with this is, and the usefulness of it in the modern age, is that you could imagine taking a child or an adult that's got a lot of problems, and the only thing you could do is sort of try and teach them, well, focus on this candle flame or on this dot, and then you've got to hope that they're doing something. Here we can target specific structures in the brain by where we put the sensor, target specific frequencies, so that when they do their concentration exercise, it's all being channeled towards that particular structure. Okay. And that's how you get the benefits. And then we know what structures are involved in what sort of things. So you can very precisely target things.
Cool. All right, put it on hard for me and let's see how I go. How small does it get if I really don't concentrate? Is it sort of...
well, that's sort of set on an easy parameter that it would only get about probably 70% smaller, but you could just make it so that it shrinks right down.
So my aim here is trying to keep the box as big as possible and as still as possible. Neither of which I'm doing particularly well at.
Yeah, and while you talk, you're going to get movement artifact, and that'll make it move about too.
Okay.
Coming from your jaw muscles.